We'll be back, ladies and gentlemen.
What is up, YouTube? I'm your friendly neighborhood Edman64, and I'm bringing you the next episode of MLB Power Pros, the double play. In the last episode, we began season mode by creating our expansion team, the AL Western Division, Las Vegas Dragons, along with our fellow division team, the Sea Dogs. Because we chose the Dragons, we will get the #1 overall pick in the draft when it comes. But more importantly, we have to focus on our roster as it presently stands. Each roster can hold up to 44 potential members. 25 regular men on the roster, and an additional 19 you can have in AAA. You cannot increase this number under any means. You are pretty much just left to your own devices until such a time when you no longer have to worry about said devices. Now, because you are an expansion team, you get basically computer-created players, which is why you have a roster of players with these little silver lines behind them. The orange line indicates that we created them. The silver line creates that the computer created them. As I mentioned earlier in the LP, the purple line indicates that players' stats have been altered, or name has been altered, or what have you. And players that don't have anything in their spots will just be, normal players. Now, in order to fully build your roster, you're going to need some outside help, which is where free agents come in. However, in order to add free agents, we have to complete and set up rosters and figure out who is getting the cut. So for this episode, we're going to focus on who is not making our rosters. For starters, the 4 I brought in are 100% making the rosters. Jack is going to focus on stamina, and JD, who is pretty much our team ace at the moment, will also be working on stamina. If I feel like they're not throwing hard enough, then I'll worry about their top speed later. Andrew is going to be our first baseman, and he's a great defender and a decent power hitter, but for the time being, I'm going to still have him focus on his defense to make sure he's the best in his position. And then Timmy, who is going to be our leadoff hitter, has a lot of contact and a lot of running speed, but not a whole lot of power. But I'm not worried about him being being a home run threat. I want him to be a good fielder and a great stolen base threat, which is what he already is. Alright, so now we focus on the players that the computer made for us. Players that are going to get cut. Our focus should be mostly on the players that are not about to get cut. So Aguilar, or Aguilar, depending on how you pronounce this, your perspective. He is going to be our starting right fielder, so I imagine we should focus on getting him some decent at-bats. Whiteman is a decent left fielder. I think we should focus on him with his fielding. Let's see. Sandhouse is also a decent outfielder. I think we should keep him around for defensive purposes. Murray, there we go. Lunsford looks like he might be our best overall player. So I think we should have him focused on his hitting. I think he's going to be like the big cog in our lineup, at least early on. West is going to be our starting shortstop, so I imagine we want him to be really fast. A nice up the middle of Timmy and West should be really good for us. Unless, of course, I choose to have Timmy be the shortstop and have a second baseman to worry about. But let's see. Second baseman's pretty decent. Let's see. I'm already seeing guys we're probably going to cut, though, which is a shame, but what are you going to do? Bailey will be a decent option to have. We do need a couple of catchers. Do we have any good hitting catchers, though? Shiriashi's decent. Freed is a better hitting catcher, but not as good a defensive catcher. So I think he should be our starting catcher, all things considered. And then have one of the better defenders. Maybe have both guys stick around. You never can have too many catchers in this game, since they're the guys that usually end up getting hurt. Enox is our center fielder. I think we should focus them on defense. Shiriashi, we'll put you in fielding as well. Alright, so let's see. We are going to have to get some pitchers in here, though. Alright. Stamina. His stamina is pretty good, so I think we should let this guy be part of our pitching rotation. At least early on. Alright, so we have a closer. Valenzuela. Let's go with a top speed for him. He can throw hard for us. Mallet's a decent reliever. Let's use him. Curveball. Alright, so let's see. Hodge is also a decent closer for us. I don't know why his stamina is so high, but whatevs. I ain't complaining. His control's really good, so I'll take that. So let's go with Valenzuela and Hodge as our closers. Knox can be useful, so I think we'll keep him as a hitter. Corey. Sneed. Darula. Otani. Huh, Otani. Like I'd have that degenerate gambler on my team. Alright, Tankersley. Let's go with you upgrading your stamina. Oh, we're gonna have a lot of pitchers to worry about here. Orozco. You're a reliever. So we'll let you do that. Salas is also a reliever. A starter, actually. He's going to need another pitch, though. Unfortunately, we can't change anything about that right now. We could try in spring training, but for the time being, we can't do much with that. Alright. Wow, our first basemen suck. I'm not even joking. Like, our first basemen are just flat out terrible. You are not a starter. You're going to be a reliever. I know you think you're a starter, but you are not going to be a starter. If anything, you will be a reliever. Lundberg is also a reliever. Throws pretty hard. But he's also got only one breaking ball, which seems to be the trend we're running into here. Yeah, our first basemen are terrible. Alright, so we'll get rid of Bittner. We'll keep Bukowski around. We'll worry about his batting capabilities. Duff. Sneed. Sneed doesn't sound too terrible. Rula. Van Heck. I do want some backup options, so we're probably going to have a couple of guys in the minors for us. So Estrella, or Estrella, whatever the hell he's calling himself, should be good to go here. Can't believe we're going to have like a roster that's just not going to be at all ready for opening day. But whatever, we're going to try. Alright, you could be useful, I guess, Otani, so you can stay. Alright, so shortstop we have a backup for. Third base we do not. We can go sign a third baseman as a free agent, but I have a lot of things I gotta worry about for this team. Sneed, you're gonna be a relief pitcher. Where'd he go? There he is. About your top speed. Yeah, no, not you. If you can barely throw 85 miles an hour, I really don't have a use for you. Alright, so Callaway, you are not going to be a starter. You're going to be a reliever. Okay, so first things first, we should start purging some of these guys that I'm tired of seeing their faces. Van Hecken could be decent off the bench, so I think we'll keep him. Alright, so... Bollinger, Fields, and Duff we're going to cut first. Bollinger, Fields, and Duff. Now, every time you release a player, it costs you a little bit of money because you'll be paying the rest of their salary for the year, but honestly, in my opinion, it's 100% worth it because now it's less players you have to worry about. Okay. Bonet, or Bonet. Blue. You got some stuff, so I'll let you stay. Okay, so Bittner, Huisman, Bonet, Bittner, Huisman, and Bonet are next. Bittner, Huisman, and Bonet. Huisman. What the hell is Huisman? Am I missing him? Or did I already get him? What the hell happened? Why didn't I see him there? Oh, I got it. It was one of the other guys I missed. Bittner was the one I missed. Okay. Bittner. Wesson could be useful at least as a defensive guy, so I think we'll keep him. So Bittner, Derula, Bittner and Reed can go. Do I have a backup center fielder? Enox, Aguilar's right field. No, I need a backup center fielder. Alright, so Reed, you get to stay. Against my better judgment, you get to stay. Bittner and Derula, however, you're both fired. The reason why I'm releasing players is because you can acquire players in free agency. Bittner and Derula. Bittner. There you go. So now we only have a payroll of $19 million, which is pretty impressive, but as you would imagine, we're probably going to be adding some players to that. First things first, Jamie Wright. Yes, I left him there for a reason, because this is going to probably be the reason why we make it to the playoffs this year, if we do make it. So, Jamie Wright. Next up, I want Guillermo Mota and Jorge Sosa. We're going to ink all three of them to contracts. Now, Wright is pretty much going to be the ace of our staff, no matter what we do, so at the very least, we don't have to worry about that. Now, looking at our roster right now. Oh, wait, no. If I promote 6 players, 6 minus 15, so we have 4 more slots we can fill before we have a full roster again. So we'll take a look at some potential players we could have. We have Francisco Rosario, who's throws really hard but has no control. Brad Salmon. Uliojo de la Cruz. Roland Smith. Ron Malone. Sal Fasano could be a decent catcher. Tony Batista. I think we'll go with Tony Batista. Or should we? Go for for I think we should go for another pitcher. So we'll go Ron Balone. We'll go Francisco Rosario. We'll go Sal Fasano and Tony Batista. All right, so now we have a full roster of free agents. No one's super standout, but at the very least, we have some decent options. So we'll work about Rosario with his control. Ron Balone will also be on control. Fasano is probably going to be our starting catcher early on. And Batista is probably going to get some decent at-bats as like a DH or something. At least until we make our first big trade. Because that's what's coming up next. The big trade. First things first, send everybody we have up to the big leagues. Let's see. I should warn you, in this game specifically, if you take players off of the Major League roster, you cannot bring them back for at least 10 days. I don't know why they did that, but you know what? I can't really complain. It gives us some decent options, so we have 14 pitchers on the roster, so I don't think we need that many. Especially since I don't think we have everybody I want up there right now anyway. Especially Jack. Okay, so we want Jack up there. Salas could be useful, but right now I think we're going to leave him off for now. Valenzuela will be a good closer. Mallet. Garrett can go. I want some guys who can throw pretty hard. Or at least decently hard. So Campbell can come. Hodge. Otani can go back to the minors. Tankersley's pretty decent. Since we are an American League team, you're definitely going to want more hitters than pitchers on your roster, since you have to have a spot for a designated hitter. So I think we will take... Mallet will be a reliever. Malone is a reliever, so we have 2 lefty relievers, which means we can probably cut bait on Lou. Okay. So that gives us 2 open roster spots, which means we need to... Alright, so Freed... Oh, Berg. Berg is going to be the one who's going to be the backup catcher. Fasano is going to be our starter. I want Andrew at first base. Timmy is going to be on the roster as well. So we'll take Ori off in favor of Batista. Bailey will be a decent bat off the bench, maybe even the DH that we have. That leaves us with... I want another outfielder to take care of our outfield issues we might have. So Knox or Bailey? Better hitter. You're a contact hitter, so I think we'll go with you. No offense, Knox, but I think we'll go with this lineup for the time being. So, let's see. Timmy will lead off and be our second baseman. Our number 2 hole hitter will be... Where's that contact hitter guy? Do I want Batista? Actually, should I make... I think Lunsford would be a decent DH, now that I think about it. Where was that contact guy? Bailey is the contact guy? Contact hitter? Yes, he is. Okay. West will bat 9th at shortstop. Aguilar. I don't know why they don't have you in right field. That's your position. Sorry. Enox will play center field. Whiteman will play left field. So we have 2 backup outfielders, a catcher, backup catcher, and a backup infielder. So Timmy bats leadoff. I want... Enox batting second. So we have lefty, righty, switch for Lunsford. Aguilar cleanup as a right fielder. First baseman hits 5th, 6th, 7th. Alright. And then our non-DH lineup. We gotta switch this up again. So Timmy bats leadoff. Center fielder, Enox. That's second. Third is Lunsford. Fourth is Aguilar. Fifth is Andrew. Sixth, Whiteman. Seventh, Fasano. Eighth, West. Okay. More importantly, though, I think we need a big bat to complement our team right now. Oh, shit, I forgot we have to do this, too. Okay. We do need a big bat, so I'm going to attempt to make a big trade to get us a DH that could bolster our lineup. So we will go Jamie Wright as our opening day starter. Guillermo Mota, for the moment, will be our closer. But that might change, you never know. JD will be in the rotation as well. I do want a lefty in my rotation, if I can get one. I don't think we'll have one, though. At least early on. We could try Mallet in the rotation. But I don't think we're going to have that early on, at least. Jorge Sosa. JD will pitch the 3rd game. Jack the 4th. Tankersley the 5th. And if we need a spot start, Valenzuela is a setup man. Rosario will be a mop-up man. If we need a swing man, we'll let it be Rosario. This I don't have to worry about right now. I can set that up later. The big thing we need right now is a bat. And the best way to get one in this game is to trade. First, let's see what our allies, let's see what our new expansion team brothers have. They got some pretty decent starters, all things considered. Holy crap. Which means we probably got better position players overall. Looks like it. Oh my, are you kidding me? Contact hitter with some, oh my god, they gave these guys everything. Yikes. Alright, but they're not the guys we're looking for. What we're looking for is an Oakland. My boy, Mike Piazza. We can put him as our DH. We'll be really good to go. So, in order to attract a deal, we'll have to basically part with some of our strength. So, Guillermo Mota. And then, hopefully, we can... Oh, okay. They just want Mota, which could be a problem for us. Unless you want another pitcher? Like Orozco? Nope, they do not want Orozco. Shiriashi? Oh, wow, they do not want any, but they just want Guillermo Mota. Alright, so hopefully Oakland gives us what we want. Otherwise, it'll be a pretty interesting game tomorrow. Well, the deal didn't go through yet. Oh shit, I'm supposed to be talking about this. Whatever. Blah, 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 blah. Oh wow, it doesn't even have the R thing anymore. Okay, basically she's explaining if you spend too much money, we can go bankrupt, and if we go bankrupt, you automatically fail. Nothing too drastic or thing about that, so for the time being, I think we're pretty good for this point. So thank you guys for joining me. I'm your friendly neighborhood N-Man64. Join me next time when we play our home opener, the first game in Las Vegas Dragons history. Until we meet again, sayonara.